looky here. It's the Pat and JT podcast.
Pat and JT podcast.
Are you going to hook that thing up tonight, or what are you going to do?
I'm going to go home and I'm going to eat. I'm going to take these clothes off because they're itchy. And I apparently peed in this end of my closet too because these clothes all shrunk. And I'm going to come back. Yes.
And that's how we start a podcast.
That is, and I was going to ask this at the very beginning of this, and nice little lead-in question.
Sure.
If you going into the holidays, which we are officially going into the holidays, it's November 1st as we record.
Can you believe?
This.
Honestly, we're like 8 weeks. Same difference. 8 weeks out to the end of the year, and then it's 2020.
It's crazy.
Do you remember? And I don't want to take you away from your subject, so don't forget.
Okay.
Just the thought. Okay, when Prince came out with 1999.
Yeah.
That was like the Jetsons.
Right.
1999. Party like it's 1999.
That's in like 11 years.
We'll be flying cars.
Uh-huh.
All these things, right? Prince, absolutely. And then 1999 came and went.
Gone.
We still had hanging chads.
And
then
and when Sophia was born, she's going to graduate in 2023. That is so far in the future. That is crazy. Hello. Super close now.
What about Bennett?
Right. I just didn't remember what year he's going to graduate. 2021. So I know now. But I 2023 because I had a shirt that said something 2023. So that's like my
Can you still wear that?
Well, I must have peed on that one too. All these shirts are...
When shirts get older, they get smaller.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Usually they get
just
bigger.
Like people. When you get old, you start to shrink.
My vests, I peed on everything, apparently. So, yeah,
Okay,
going
back.
into the holidays, with Thanksgiving a few weeks away, and if living your best life, no judgment on anybody, if living your best life is a certain weight or feeling a certain thing, if you don't go into the holidays at that weight, if you go above, you're screwed. I'm screwed. Because I'm carrying about...
It's a
8
yes
pounds.
And no.
I mean, 100%. It's 100% yes.
I don't know. The funny thing is, I don't get that wrapped up in the holidays anymore. It's
the food.
It's not even the food. I don't get that
do.
wrapped up in the food. It's kind of like, I look forward to our Thanksgiving meal. It's one meal, and I'm going to enjoy it. And we have the one meal, and we've been doing that for years, right? But there's not a ton to take home. There's 18 families that are there, and so eat our Thanksgiving stuff, and then. It's like I've never been one for cookies. I'm not one for sweets. I don't mind them. I enjoy them, but I don't crave them.
Yeah.
So
I don't either.
I crave
but when
a
I have
bulldog.
one, well, that's kind of sweets. That's adult sweets.
That's different.
I don't crave candy either, and I don't crave pastries. But if I have, I think you've probably heard me say this before. If I have one, it's over. If I have one M&M, I'm belly up in that bag.
I literally have a bag of M&Ms in the drawer of my refrigerator, and I just open it and get like 2 out.
I don't know how you can do that.
And and then I forget they're in there. And then one day I go to grab something out of that drawer, like a cheese stick or something else, and everything gets on top of it. And I'm like, I have an M&M. I just the other day found a yogurt, like a popsicle, but it was Oreos. Oreo and ice, Oreo ice cream, yogurt sickle, whatever you want to call it. Found it in... used to be, there was a time I knew exactly how many were in the fridge, but I totally forgot. Right. And then I also found a little container of orange sherbet.
I love orange sherbet.
I do too. That for some reason that brings back like childhood memories. Right. I don't know why.
My mom loved orange sherbet. We had orange sherbet all the time.
Always seemed like there was orange sherbet.
And in mind, it was always healthy. That it was not. If you look, it's not. It's almost the exact same thing as ice cream.
Just has a fancy name.
Yeah,
it's the fancy cousin.
Almost the exact same thing.
Same bloodline.
God. So I know I just got to head down and barrel through this because my mom has Thanksgiving. Beth's parents have Thanksgiving. Yeah. We have food. We have candy. My wife loves Kahlua. She also loves candy. So
Kahlua doesn't count because.
But Kahlua gets you buzzed. You make bad decisions, and you start. What it is.
That's the plan ahead of what's available. That's
everything.
True.
It doesn't matter. Thank you, Grubhub. Everything is available all the time. So I don't know.
Oh my God!
I bent down in front of my mirror yesterday with my underwear on, like not meaning to put my shoes on. I didn't have my shirt on yet, and like what? And it's always. I was telling Beth about that. I'm like, yeah, I caught a glimpse of this hot mess in the mirror this morning. She goes, yeah, that reminds me, we need to shave your back. Wow. Thanks.
Have you ever
babe.
done the waxing on your back?
Yeah.
So
it hurts. It hurts, but I don't mind it. I did Nair. I did Nair before. It was last year. I did Nair before we went to Mexico last year, and Beth did Nair on my back.
Yeah.
And her and Angie were packing, and I'm in the bathroom. She'd put Nair all over my back.
Soaking.
It says 5 minutes, and I'm starting to smell cooked hair. And I'm yelling, guys, it's been like 5 minutes. And they go, you're fine. You're fine. So they get in, scrape it all off, burned a little bit. Next morning, scabs. Chemical burns on my back, my flanks.
That's why they tell people,
Yeah, but they actually did feel bad because the salt water kind of stung a little bit.
Doesn't it just make it heal faster?
It apparently did because it was gone by the time we left.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. All right. So you're going back to the shaving though, huh? Of the
Yeah.
back. Okay.
Just the
I
clippers.
think you should do that.
I had. It doesn't bother me.
When I did, and I'm surprised if you do it regularly, it gets less and less. Like my legs,
Yeah.
there was nothing. By the time I finally did the laser hair removal, there was like 22 hairs on each leg.
Cost you $15. Yeah.
Seriously. And I had to only do the laser hair removal one time. And they say it usually takes 3 because your hair grows in cycles. Yeah. There was not much.
Yeah, I don't mind I don't mind waxing. It didn't hurt. I mean, it doesn't feel the best, but whatever, you're good for a while.
It's still
but I
satisfying
haven't
when
done
you
it
know
for-
it's
Yeah. Well,
out of there.
Yeah, gone.
Gone. That's why I have the 10X mirror on by the
You're
back
sitting
door.
there, yeah. Crisscross applesauce popping blackheads in the 10X mirror.
Looking for stray hairs.
It's an absolute disaster. Nobody ever looks good in a 10X mirror. Ever.
No, there's nothing
No,
that looks good in
nothing
a 10X
that looks
mirror.
good in a 10X except the sandwich.
Oh my God. Okay. Speaking
was
of looking good too, by the way, there was a study that came out and it said the worst city in every state. Did you see I posted that the other day?
I did not.
And what it was based on, it says
worst city in every
the worst city in every state, according to this guy, Matt Shirley's Instagram followers. Okay. That's what it says. It's in teeny tiny print. The worst city in every state, and in little print, according to Matt Shirley's Instagram followers. So he asked them all, and he did a poll to find out what the worst city they believed in every state was.
Okay, well, I can only imagine.
And some of them were kind of surprising because you're like, come on, seriously? It's like somebody said in in Texas they picked Dallas, and some people are like, have you ever driven through Amarillo? Amarillo is like a ghost town, and they're right. It's
Yeah.
up in the Panhandle in Texas. There's some that are just a little too obvious. Kansas, they picked Topeka. Oklahoma, they might be closer. They said Ardmore. Oklahoma's got a lot to offer.
And I've been to Ardmore. Ardmore's not bad.
They're in a lot. I mean, seriously, it's as advertised.
Yeah, you get what you didn't have to pay for.
They don't like try to fool you to get you to come in the gates.
Yeah, nobody goes to Arkansas and go, oh man.
Right? What is Arkansas? Arkansas is Pine Bluff.
And Arkansas is beautiful, actually.
And it really is. And I've been to Pine Bluff, oddly enough. When I was in college at Arizona State, one of the girls that I palled around with, Julie Insidioso was her name. And Julie was from Kalamazoo, Michigan. And we decided when we were going to go back for the summer that we were going to make the drive instead of fly each individually. We decided to drive. Mm-hmm. And so what the plan was we were going to go to Pine Bluff because that's where her boyfriend lived.
Oh boy.
And so we drove across 3 states and then into Pine Bluff, Arkansas. We rolled. It's quaint.
Mm-hmm. It's nice. Nice way to put it.
It's, I think, south of Little Rock. Anyway, and then from there, we drove up to Chicago because a girlfriend of mine had been a nanny in New York, Yonkers, New York, for the last year. And
fun.
she was flying back. And so we'd agreed instead of flying from Chicago to Omaha, we'll pick you up in Chicago, which was a big mistake because that means you had to go to O'Hare.
A disaster.
Never been there before in my life.
Yeah,
so
it's a disaster. It's a disaster.
drove there, and then we all went to Kalamazoo. And Julie's family lives right on Lake Michigan, like right on Lake Michigan.
Yeah, that's
and you could walk to the end of their yard, and then it dropped straight off into the.
Sweet.
It was crazy.
That's legit.
Really pretty town, though. Kalamazoo did not win in Michigan, by the way, as far as being the worst city.
So is that winning or losing?
I think that's winning.
Getting nominated anyway.
If you get nominated, can't even. It's Manitowoc. I don't know. Flint, Michigan. That's who won. Flint, Michigan. So that's no surprise. Brookings, South Dakota. Rock Springs, Wyoming. Pueblo, Colorado. Cedar Rapids taking it home.
Huh.
There were a lot of Iowegians that had
what's in Cedar Rapids?
had things to say. 'Cause
Really?
They thought there were plenty of other offerings that should have been ahead of Cedar Rapids.
Obviously there are.
Overachievers, aren't they?
Yeah.
Hobbs, New Mexico, Mesa, Arizona, Sparks, Nevada. If any of these are ringing a bell to anybody. A couple of Macon, Georgia.
I've heard of Macon.
Orlando, Florida. The worst.
Well, it's kind of Orlando's not. It's not like it's pretty. I mean, I've been to Orlando a couple times. It's in the middle of Florida, so it's like you don't get the ocean, you get the heat. You have Disney World, 1 million tourists.
So if you love children and tourists,
right, and not the ocean,
and not the ocean,
right.
Let's see. Then a couple others for you. I was I don't know some of these names. Woonsocket, Rhode Island, I think it is. And then Turkey Creek, Louisiana is in there. Oh, and Nebraska. Fremont.
Fremont. Really? Why Fremont?
They picked Fremont. So
Why
I shouted out to Fremont Fred.
Yeah.
Our go-to.
Till we got in trouble.
Just to say, dude, what the heck is going on, man?
happened?
Didn't see this coming at all. And he had a couple I'm sorry's. I think there were and he blamed himself partially, and then he also blamed, of course, he talks about the chicken plant on occasion.
Well, that probably doesn't help. There's been some news, some
Right?
immigration news lately. Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
See, that kind of got, again, I'm going to use the word conflated, again, confused, messed up, because it was actually one thing more than it was another thing, and so it ended up sounding like racism, and it really wasn't. But it was unfortunate.
But people don't look into a story enough to
I know.
see if something's right or wrong. They just run with it. Just scream.
Yeah. Running, screaming, yelling it out.
Yep.
So I decided to do a quick Google search to see what came up as the worst cities in Nebraska. And there literally is.
There's a list of the worst cities in Nebraska.
The worst cities in Nebraska. And just number 9 is Hastings. Number 8 is Lexington, Plattsmouth, Beatrice, Schuyler. And the things they're looking at, by the way, is the crime rate, how much a house costs, how much people make. Those things all matter. But the comparison as far as like say Schuyler, 11th most dangerous place in Nebraska, according to the FBI.
Well, and Nebraska is a pretty safe place, so I can't imagine even the most dangerous
After you
place
get
in
past
Nebraska.
number 4 or 5,
Like, what's number 1 for the most dangerous? Does it say that? Does it have a most dangerous
Omaha.
place in Nebraska? Okay, I guess probably Omaha, and then Lincoln's probably number 2.
right?
So then number 3,
Population
what we got? Kearney, Grand Island.
Probably Grand Island. Let's see. Well, Grand Island's on here. Grand Island is sky high unemployment at 5.8%. 6th highest in the state. Okay, Grand Island. Crime isn't horrible there, but a 1 in 29 chance of being a victim of property crime.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not actually that bad. Our bad is not that bad.
Right. So
Let's just put it that way.
So if our bad's not that bad, then the 11th worst is still pretty damn good.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just it. It's not that bad. So Crete came in at number 4. Omaha was actually number 3, and then Scottsbluff and Grand Island was number 1 on the list for the worst cities
That's just so weird.
in Nebraska. I thought so too.
And all those national lists that come out anyway, like best places here. One year it's one city, and the next year that city's not even in the top 20. Like they just tanked.
Because there are a lot of really good places.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That's what you got to look at. Because
Right.
even with the worst cities in Nebraska, these are all really great places to live. Hastings, I lived in Hastings. Really nice city.
Right, it was good.
Nice
good,
little town.
Good place. Good people.
Yeah. So anyway, so I saw that. Okay, so there's that. Speaking of violence, it's time for Saunders County Sheriff's
nice.
Office.
Fugitive Friday.
Well, kind of.
Fugitive whatever.
It was Fugitive Friday.
recorded on Friday.
Yes. And this week it says, "Will you be able to help us apprehend these criminals?" They're looking for Lucas Volenek. I think Volenec.
Sounds right.
He's 39, and he is wanted for failure to appear on a motion to suppress, referencing charges of possession with intent to deliver meth
Okay.
and carrying a concealed weapon. Last known address was Weston, and he also may have a Lancaster County warrant as well. So, Lucas.
Watch your 6, Lucas.
Then Lori Miller, she's wanted on 2 warrants in regards to bad checks. Class 1 misdemeanor.
Who writes checks anyway, Lori?
I don't know.
And I would assume right now every check is bad. If somebody rolls up to my point of sale purchase and they want to write a check, I'm like, nah, Kathy, not happening.
You got to wonder in the beginning who thought that was really, it's like really a good idea. Just jot down the numbers and sign your name. And that is a legal document.
Sure.
But still, you have no way of verifying that they actually have money in the bank until you find out when it comes back and it bounced, and then you bounce checks.
Absolutely awful.
Mm-hmm. So she's one on that. She was last known, though, to be in Kansas. And these go back to 2014. They're just trying to hunt her down. So all the tips are confidential. Again, that's Saunders County Sheriff's Office.
I love it.
They're doing a great job. And then finally, speaking of crime, I'm just going to tie this all together.
All crime.
Well, kind of. We started bad, and then we got to whatever. It doesn't matter. So somebody stole my trash can.
Well, that's the name of today's podcast. What? Who steals a trash can? Who steals a trash can? Are you sure it didn't blow away?
Oh, yeah. I got home. They collect trash on Wednesdays. I got home that Wednesday night. It was there, and you can tell it had been moved. So I knew that Abe's had been through. They're like clockwork. And the other people that have Abe's on the block also, you could tell. Everybody's been picked up. And mine was there. As a matter of fact, Def and Bob was just rolling through. I was just getting home that evening, so they were kind of on the back side of theirs. And I saw it out there at the end of the driveway.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a crappy day. That was kind of weather-wise.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll come back out in just a minute and get it. So because I had the dog with me, I had to unload the dog and all that good stuff. So I got inside, shut the garage door, let the dog out of the car, get inside. Totally forgot everything, put on my pajamas. And I'm like, screw it. I'm not going outside.
Yeah.
At this point, I'll get it in the morning before I leave. The next morning, open up the garage door. It's gone.
That's crazy.
There isn't, not one is still on the block, but I did see my neighbors where that normally is. And then I asked my other neighbor, and they don't use Abe's, but theirs was fine. And he said, do you think somebody took it? And I said, I can't imagine how you'd need a truck.
And why?
Well, because you'll get free service.
Well, don't they have?
Because if you go, wouldn't you? I mean, if you're the Abe's driver,
you would think. But knowing from when I moved a few years ago, and I had a service. I don't remember what it was, even what service it was. I had their bins out at the driveway, loaded up, and they were because I didn't pay because I was moving, so it like lapsed. They were told by dispatch not to pick up my trash.
Well, I think that's probably true.
So I don't think they would just randomly pick up somebody's driveway that they didn't have on their list.
I don't think they have a list. I'd be open to hear about this from the trash collectors, because I'm curious if you have a list of who to pick up or who not to pick up. I think it's more likely they have the latter
of who not to pick up.
Who not to.
So drive around till you see a hot one, and if it's marked on the list, don't pick it up.
But if mine's sitting there at the end of the driveway and it's empty and somebody takes it and they're over 2 blocks, and then they use my trash can and set it out the end of their driveway.
Sure. They
get picked up.
I mean, that's an awful lot of work for like $11.50 a month, but whatever. That's a lot of work.
But they're nice trash cans too. They're really big. Abe's has really big ones. But anyway, so I called Abe's and I said, does this happen a lot? She says, well, more often than not, she says, it does happen. It does happen. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. She says, sometimes they do blow away, but their cans are so big. It's not like it just blows away under a bush somewhere.
So you have to pay for a new one, or are they just going to give you one?
They're going to bring me a new one, but until then, I'm just bagging it.
Just free bagging it?
I got a pile of bags in
Just
the
pile
garage.
of bags. And that's going to start. Look, thank God it's winter. It's
I
not
know,
gonna
right?
stink.
I'm fine. It's good. They'll be back. They'll come back next week, and they'll bring me a new
take
can.
a picture of your can when you get it.
My new can?
Your new can.
I haven't had a new can in 9 years.
That's right. Well, it's about time. About that time. And then put it on the glass when you get it. Put that can on the glass.
And you know what? I found out about that also. Uh-huh. That also refers to Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
That's what I was talking about the entire time.
That is not what you were talking about.
Talking about
it wasn't that glass at all. You didn't even know that was
glass.
Put
it on the glass.
You didn't even know that was glass.
No idea that was glass.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to our podcast.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Parkville Media Production.